So I wasn't sure. I started yesterday. I came on here and just kind of tested the live on YouTube. And what I immediately realized is that it's pretty similar to the way lives work in this format on TikTok. So I said, well, I had a couple of thoughts in mind. One is that this channel here has always been just sort of my channel, a just for fun channel. So the basic premise of this channel is it's just me being me. And it's my way of being able to share that with family and friends and obviously other people who may or may not be interested in, my musical side, my goofy side, my more serious side, and just whatever comes to mind. When I do my lives on TikTok, they are an open forum. So what that basically means is that it's left up to the viewers to decide what they want the topics to be about. It's left up to the viewers to decide, which way the live chat goes. This channel is not devoted to topics or any specific topic or any specific niche. I have other channels that are geared more towards specific things, but this one is not one of them. And so as I was kind of, mulling it around, the thing that came to mind for me is, well, maybe I can do lives on this channel pretty much the same way that I would do a live on TikTok, which is to say, it's an open forum. Surprisingly, when I went on live yesterday, there were actually people that did show up for it, which surprised me because number one, I didn't announce it. Number two, it was just spur of the moment, and so it kind of surprised me that anybody did pop in at all. But as soon as the live started and I saw people in and saw how it might go. I didn't stay on long, and there wasn't a lot of engagement, but I saw that it works almost the same way that TikTok works, at least in this capacity. Everybody's got a different way of doing lives. Some people have a fancy studio set up. Right now I'm doing the live vertical. In the future, I may try to do it horizontal. It just depends. It depends on, how things go. I'm not new to YouTube, but I'm new to this type of format. Actually, one thing that I do want to say is that as I've been making videos for my other channels, more specifically the Springboard, I've always found it difficult to fly off the cuff. I feel better if I'm scripted. I feel better if I've got, different sense of organization. And when I started doing TikTok lives, the one thing that I noticed is that it offered me a way to practice doing videos, a way to talk to the camera, a way to feel more confident on camera. And lives are pretty much on the spot too, right? So when you're live, you're in front of people in real time, which is very different than just, doing a video and then going into your video editing software and chopping it all up and then making it look nice. It's a very different setting. So that's what I'm going to try to do. Now, I understand that I'm new to this and people are going to have to find me. So these videos or these lives may not be worth anything in the short term, but over time, just like it starts on TikTok, when you do lives on there, you start off with zero audience for them. And at some point you grow and all of a sudden you've got regulars coming in and people that are interested in what you're doing. So that's what this live is going to try to be. Generally, I don't know if I'm going to put a time limit on them. I haven't decided that yet. When I do my TikTok lives, they pretty much go as long as they need to go. And that's generally something I think that works, at least for me and for my audience over there. Here I may do the same. It may be as long as it needs to be, but I also may decide that, I have a set time limit. I say, okay, I'll go live for an hour. Um, and I do want to go live on my Springboard channel at some point. Right now, I have 32 subscribers, and I need 50 to go live over there. So that's a work in progress, and that will happen eventually. That one, if I go live there, will be more structured. This one is, like I said, it's just me being me. It's an open forum. This channel has never been niched down, and I never intend to niche it down. That's just that's the way I want to go with it. That's the way I want to keep this channel. This channel is Jim Bauer. That's me, and it's an extension of all the things that I like to talk about. It's an extension of all the things that I like to do. It's an extension of all the things that I like to share. I myself am obviously not niched down. I like to play music. I play my guitar. I record music. I've uploaded music to various streaming platforms. I do goofy videos, especially on TikTok. I do a lot there. Sometimes I share them on this channel. So that's why this is an open forum, because there is no niche here. It's whatever it wants to be. It's whatever it needs to be. It's whatever the viewers want it to be. That is my entire motivation for starting up these lives. Now, right now, there's nobody here. I am talking to myself, me, myself, and I, but that's okay. That's okay, because eventually there'll be some people probably that'll pop in or be interested at some point and maybe get to know me a little bit and hopefully like what I'm doing. And worst case scenario, look, the videos that get generated out of the live streams build an audience after the fact. Then they start, maybe looking for you and things like that. So we did have somebody pop in. Stranger Ting popped in. What I was talking about, Stranger, is these are just open forums. So this channel has never been niched down. I don't ever intended to be niched down. So the open forum is basically as I do them on TikTok when I go live on there, and it's basically whatever the viewers want it to be. I might have a bit of a topic that I start off with just to have something to say, because obviously these turn into videos afterwards. But that's what this is supposed to be. It's just an open forum. And it's only my second time going live on YouTube, so it's also a bit of an experiment of sorts. Thoughts on the supernatural? I think there's some truth to some of it. Most of it, to my mind, is hooey, but there are some things that I don't think can be necessarily explained that are rather strange, and there may be some cosmic thing that's associated with it. I don't know. I mean, do we really know all there is to know about the world and the universe that we live in? There's so much that's unexplained that even sometimes you have to question what is explained and question, well, how do we know that? How do we know that's true? How do we know that science is true? It's based on what we know now. And that's exactly the kind of thing that this live is geared to be as it progresses on. It's an open forum. That means anybody can ask any question on any topic, and if I can provide an answer, I will. If I don't feel comfortable providing an answer, I'll state that, and we go from there. So it's entirely about letting the viewers decide what they want it to be. Obviously, I've got my music and things on this channel that I hope people are interested in at some point. But ever prayed to anything? Not to push religion, but I prayed to Jesus and was honestly healed from 6 months of organ pain. Hey, that's great. I have nothing against religion. I'm not a religious person myself, but I have nothing against religion. And I think that if people can find comfort from anything, aside from like hardcore drugs and stuff like that, but if people find comfort and solace in believing in something, I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think it should be frowned upon. I don't think that it should be something that people should be against. I don't have to be religious, but I have nothing against people who are or who have certain beliefs. or even if they believe that prayer helps them, I have no issue with that. But I do appreciate you popping in. I don't know how you found me, Stranger Ting, but I'm glad that you popped in anyway. At least if I've got one person on my new live venture on this open forum idea based off of my TikTok lives. Deciding to do it here on YouTube. I think YouTube is a better platform anyway. There's a lot of good people on TikTok, but I think that YouTube is just a better platform. I think there's a better audience on TikTok. I think there's better support on TikTok. I'm sorry, on YouTube. I think there's better support on YouTube. It's just, and I also think it is a better policed community. YouTube polices its community better. Haven't you ever even been curious to see if anything responds to prayer? By the way, I just subbed. I love the whole idea of this channel. Thank you. I appreciate the sub. I really do. Yeah, I mean, like I say, this channel is not niche down. Niche or niche. It's not niched down. It's always been a just for fun channel. And so when I got to thinking about doing the lives, that was one of the things that came to mind for me, is that the lives can be whatever the lives want to be, and whatever the audience wants it to be. So I think that's an interesting thing. I have heard lots of stories about people who have prayed, and that sometimes it results in something, and sometimes it doesn't. And again, I have nothing against that. Whether or not I believe that the prayer is the reason or not the reason, that can be debated, right? But I think that overall, if somebody has faith and they believe in something, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And however you get from point A to point B doesn't matter so long as you get there, right? So yeah, I have no opinions against religion or and again, I mean it comes down to does anybody really know what the answer is? It goes back to our supernatural thing. Does anybody really know what the answers are? We kind of think we do, but maybe we don't. So there's all kinds of things that happen in the world that we don't necessarily know how it all works. But if we believe in something, hey, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, I mean, I'm very fair. Thank you very much for the likes. I appreciate that. I'm a fair guy. I mean, that's the one thing that I hope comes across. The more the audience builds on these lives, and the more I do these lives, I hope that comes across, is that I'm a fair-minded individual, and I have a lot of thoughts and views on a lot of different things. But when I share my opinion about things or share my thoughts about things, I'm trying to be open-minded, and I'm trying to be fair about those things. So hopefully that comes across. Favorite hobbies? Oh man, I got a lot of them. I like to write. I've been writing since I think I realized I had hands to hold a pen. But I like to write. I write blogs. I do YouTube. I play guitar. I do TikTok. So I'm into all sorts of things. I'm a bit of what they call a polymath. Now, polymath is basically just, I guess that's sort of the fancy way of saying whatever that saying is. Expert at nothing but knowledge in all things, or whatever. I like to do a little bit of everything. And this channel is probably an example of that, because it doesn't really have a theme. It doesn't have a niche. So I do have a couple other channels that I have recently started that are niche down, but this isn't one of them, and I don't ever intend this channel to be niche down. So, biggest learning curve in life. I think it was probably just to be comfortable with who I am, and not worry so much about what other people think about that. I think that is a very freeing way to be. When we're younger, we spend so much of our time trying to fit in and trying to be liked and trying to, get others' approval. At the end of the day, what I realized is that life is so much more enjoyable and so much more comfortable and so much more fulfilling when you can just be yourself and accept the fact that some people are going to like you and some people are not. And that's just the way it is, So that was probably one of my biggest learning curves in life. Once you open that door, the world becomes your oyster. You get to do whatever you want and not be so concerned about, fitting in or things like that. So that's kind of where I stand on that. But thank you for the questions. At least I'm very happy about the fact that even if there's only one person here, you're engaging me in a way that I can engage back with you and make at least the live something better than maybe I would have thought it could have been when I decided to jump this. And again, this is only my second live on YouTube. Yesterday was kind of an experiment. I've been doing TikTok lives for a long time, so I'm familiar with the process. And I don't expect this live to be anything fancy. So it is what it is. I'm just going to have fun. And then hopefully anybody who makes their way in here also has fun. He says, it's been kind of going downhill for a while at YouTube. I think YouTube is, it's in a tough spot because there's so much going on technologically that YouTube is trying to keep up. Obviously what YouTube is going to do, and if I say TikTok every once in a while, I'm so used to doing TikTok lives, I might slip up, but I'm referring to YouTube in this particular case. But YouTube is having to learn a lot of new things about what the audiences want, like all this AI that's going around right now. Do audiences want more of that or less of that? YouTube's got to figure that out. And I think they will, because the algorithm is designed well enough, I believe, that they will be able to determine, based on audience reaction to certain types of content, whether or not that's the kind of content that they are going to want. My personal experience on YouTube has been a very good one. I like the platform. I like what the platform does. I like what the platform offers. So YouTube is something that I think has gotten better, I think, over time. And I've been on YouTube or around YouTube for a very, very long time. So if I look at YouTube, 10 years ago even, and I look at YouTube now, from my perspective, I think YouTube is a better place, but that's just my perspective and my opinion, for whatever that's worth. But I've been trying to get, well, I've got two other channels. One is the Springboard. That one is geared more to, money, business, conservative politics, that sort of thing. It's basically an extension of my blogs. And then I have Synthetic Echoes, which is probably more related to this channel in the sense that this channel also includes my musical releases. So Synthetic Echoes is basically AI versions of my original music. So it's a work in progress. I've got 17 subscribers. The last I looked at Synthetic Echoes. If you want to check it out, it's at Synthetic Echoes Music. That is the YouTube channel. And I've got a few videos up there right now, slow going. I've got 32 subscribers on my Springboard channel. I'd like to get that up to 50 because, again, I'd like to do some lives on that channel. But obviously those lives would be very specific. Yeah, you have a great sleep, stranger. I appreciate you popping in, and I appreciate you subscribing. I don't know if I'm going to ever have a set time for these live open forums. It probably would be better if I did, but I'll kind of let the audience decide. Maybe if I start to get an actual audience, maybe I'll pop that question out and ask, hey, would you prefer if I did these at a specified time? So that way, at least people know when to tune in for them, especially if an audience actually builds on them. So again, I've got almost 1,500 subscribers to the channel, but the audience, I believe, is different for the live streams, as they are different for the short form videos and the long form videos. So it'll all depend on that. And again, I don't know if it's going to be something that's going to be, if I designate an hour to it, or just do them like I do the TikTok lives and say they're as long as they need to be, or as long as I want to do them. So the initial ones, open forums, will probably be shorter in length, simply because I don't have an audience on these lives yet. So I can only talk to myself so long, and try to fill the content enough that it's when the video gets generated after the live, it's not just me staring into the phone in this case. But maybe the forums will get big enough to where I'll be incentivized to actually build a studio space and make these even more fun, or at least better to look at. So it should just pop up on my phone from now on, so no exact time needed for me. I'll see you again. I hope to see you around again. I appreciate you stopping in. And again, this one, I have no idea how long this one's going to be. It just depends on, if there's anybody else that happens to pop in and wants to pop a question or two or three. Again, it's an open forum, so that basically just means that it is whatever you want it to be. This channel is just for fun for me, and so from my perspective, that means that because the channel isn't niched down, that it doesn't need to be niched down for the lives either. We can just have fun and enjoy chatting about some interesting topics. Hopefully bring some interesting perspectives, so we will see how that all goes. It's a lot of fun over at TikTok. The only thing that, is a bit intrusive on the lives, and I do have a moderator over there, so it does help quite a bit, but are the trolls, because the trolls have one goal and one objective in mind, and that is to basically take over your live and ruin the experience, not only for you, the creator, but for your viewers as well. They want to just take it over. So the problem with that too is that sometimes what happens is, if you've got somebody who makes a particular comment and you respond to it a certain way, sometimes that triggers something within the TikTok algorithm, and the next thing you know, you're on suspension for a week. It is what it is. I can only control so much on my end. Hopefully YouTube, as I get into these lives, hopefully I will have the understanding that YouTube is policing a little bit better. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I don't know. Because obviously whenever we post videos, there are times when we do get trolling comments in those videos as well. And it's up to us, the creators, to kind of sift through all that and determine what is good and what is not and what gets deleted. And so we will see. But it is just what it is. But I think these lives will be fun, and I understand that they're going to take time to kind of kick in a little bit, and I'm okay with that. So it's just like the TikTok thing, like I said earlier. You spend a lot of time when you start doing them, staring at an empty screen, just staring at yourself and talking to yourself. But eventually you do get an audience, and you do get people coming around, and they kind of get a feel for what you're about. And so things kind of develop from there. So hopefully it'll be as much fun on YouTube doing these open forums as it is for me to do them on TikTok. So we shall see. But when you have somebody come in like Stranger Ting came in, and I'd like to know the person's actual name, because sometimes I don't like to call people by their handles, but you can have interesting conversations and you can have interesting content that gets generated just based off of that. This could be like a question and answer. Basically, that's what an open forum is. You know, you ask, do I believe that a hot dog is a sandwich? And I get to answer that question. And we jump off from there. So it becomes whatever it wants to become. And I like those kind of questions. I always say, I don't care if it's a silly question, a fun question, or a serious question. I'm open to all of them. And sometimes it interests me just by itself, kinds of questions that people will ask you. So it keeps the brain going, it keeps the brain active. And that's something I always want to do anyway, especially considering my mother is suffering from dementia, and I don't know where that came from, but I'd like to keep my brain exercised. Well, this one has been fun. At least I had one person come in and was able to launch the open forum in a fairly good way. Like I said, there's no set time that I'll be doing these at this time. That may change in the future. There may be a lot of changes I make in the future depending on whether or not this open forum even has an audience. If you're watching this on the video and not on the live stream, pop in every once in a while. Check around and see if I'm on, and give me a look-see, because I definitely will be doing these lives often. I just don't know if they'll be at specific. So that will all be determined at a later date. So, hey, appreciate you popping in if you did, either on the live stream or on the video afterward. If you like this video, give it a like, subscribe. Go check out some of my other videos on this channel. Feel free. Leave comments on those. I like comments, and I'll see you around. So maybe we can hang out sometime. Appreciate you stopping in.